Role-playing games have had a tough time over the past decade. System Shock 2 received BioShock, Fallout 1 and 2 received Oblivion 2, and the biggest tragedy of all, Deus Ex received its awful sequel, Invisible War. RPGs are only about leveling up and receiving tons of powers at the moment. They forget the most important part of an RPG, choice. So when Deus Ex 3 was announced, many had a small glimmer of hope that RPGs would return to their former glory. But many were put off by the awful sequel to the original, Invisible War. Not only that, but it had to live up to one of the finest games in history. Somehow, I don't know how, but Eidos Montreal pulled off the impossible. The year is 2027, a time of great innovation in science and technology, where cybernetic augmentations can change and erase the constraints of our body's limitations. However, society is split in two. One side believe in controlling our evolutions for augmentations, the others believe augmentations are unethical and destroy what makes us human. You play as Adam Jensen, an ex-SWAT member who was supposedly fired from the team due to an incident in Mexico town. He was then hired as a security specialist for Sarif Industries, the main innovator in the augmentation industry. Before the Sarif research team attend an announcement in Washington, D.C., the building is attacked by a group of Black Ops who wipe out all of the research team and nearly kill Adam. Adam is forced to be augmented to save his life. 6 months later, he's on the hunt to find out who attacked the HQ and find out why they attacked. He has all the intrigue that a good espionage conspiracy thriller would have. However, it's the ethics and the themes that stand out. The game poses questions that many of us will have to answer in the near future. But by the end of the game, the players themselves decided what side of the fence they're on. It has a fantastic story that is done in a mature way that is intelligent and leaves your brain satisfied. However, the intelligence is not kept just to the story, it also runs into the gameplay. I mentioned earlier that RPGs at their core are all about choice. Deus Ex 3 does a fantastic job of allowing you to play the game how you want to. You can play the game like an expert gunsmith, using cover, weapon upgrades, and augmentations to aid killing your enemies. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you can play the entire game without killing a single enemy, by sneaking past them, or you can completely avoid enemies by finding hidden pathways. What is so great is that every playstyle is rewarding, and all of them are viable thanks to the impeccable level design. The worst part are the boss battles. They sadly don't offer the amount of choice the rest of the game has. If you're a stealth character, you can't sneak your way past the bosses. If you are a hacker, you can't use technology to aid you, and if you are a social character, you can't talk your way out of the situation. Instead, you are forced to kill the boss in combat. It completely ruins the flexibility of the game. Deus Ex 3 is a perfect example of a game that can make up for lackluster graphics with a fantastic presentation. The art style is heavily inspired by cyberpunk films like Blade Runner and Ghost in the Shell. It also takes lots of inspiration from Renaissance culture, which runs alongside the themes of the game. However, the actual graphics, particularly character models, are very average, and their canned animations pull you out of the experience. The voice acting is very mixed. The majority of the main characters do a pretty great job, however some of the other minor characters are either very average or painful to listen to. Thankfully, Michael McCann's phenomenal score makes up for the mixed voice acting in the sound department. It's been a decade since we've had a true RPG, and Eidos Montreal has made a great RPG, and it's true to what the genre is. That is not only the finest RPG of the past decade, it can easily stand alongside games like System Shock 2 and Fallout 1 and 2. In many ways it surpasses the original, and stands out as one of the greatest achievements in the past 10 years.